how they communicate with. Can you tell me what they look like? Can you tell me how many of them there were? Were you given food?
But the teachers are alive. They're not books. They are the very living essences of nature itself.
What a strange person.
Unbelievably powerful supercomputer that's running our reality, and we don't have a clue as to how to operate it.
So when maybe you or somebody else creates an AGI system and you get to ask her one question, what would that question be?
What's outside the simulation?
Say in your mind, say to yourself, I am more than my physical body, because I am more than physical matter. I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world.
Welcome to Lighting the Void.
All broadcasting from New York, upstate near the Great Lakes. It's Lighting the Void live on the Fringe FM. I'm your host, Joe Roop, and you're listening to KTLK Digital Broadcasting. It's Monday night, I believe. It's the 19th. I don't know what day it is anymore sometimes. And tonight we welcome back special guest Montana Jordan. We're going to be going down the realms of paranormal and parapsychological research, as well as probably the occult and some ghost stuff. I mean, it's getting close to Halloween. It's time we touch this stuff. Get closer to it. Don't forget to sign up for the Fringe Fest to get your tickets. Also, your chance to win 2 tickets tonight if you call in at 1-800-588-0335. You can call in to win those tickets. We've given away quite a bit, but since we're getting closer, I'm sure some of you guys were waiting for this. Since we're getting closer, we're going to do something special for you. So when you sign up and you get your tickets for the Halloween weekend, just keep in mind, too, there's raffles. You can come and go as you please. You're going to get a recording afterwards. But if you put in the code word Joe when you get your tickets, you're going to get 15% off. That's a steal. It's a deal, man. It's just like a pack of cigarettes and a freaking like drink or something, and you've got access to the Fringe Fest all Halloween weekend. Jordan Maxwell, Clyde Lewis, Linda Godfrey, Karen Dahlman. There's Guy Winters, Alana Freeland. We're going to have a bunch of people come speak. Mary Ducina is going to do a presentation there. It's going to be cool. We're going to have live performers. You're going to get to see everybody on video. A lot of the people at the Fringe FM on video. It's going to be fun. So take advantage of that. Also, if you want to support this show, sign up to our Patreon at patreon.com/LTV radio. And with the event and stuff, I haven't really gotten into there to do everything, but I will this week. It will get done. I'm going to switch up the tarot a little bit on you, too. All right. Let's see. What else do we got going on? Yeah, I would just take advantage of that because that deal's going. The seats are limited. Once we fill up, then we can't do any more because we have to upgrade to the next largest, I don't know what it's called, server, I guess. And it's just too much. So we do have limited seats. And they're starting to fill up. So grab one. All right. Let's do this. Let's get the show on the road. Fringe Fest. There you go. I like it. Not in Stalker. Oh yeah, and if you've won tickets, don't worry. I got you, everybody on the list. Some of you guys are asking. Don't worry. You're gonna get everything emailed to you. All right, Montana Jordan is here with us. She's back, and Montana Jordan is an internationally renowned paranormal and parapsychological researcher with over 20 years of personal and professional fieldwork experience. She has an academic specialty in occultism and the esoteric, and is employed as an independent consultant to several local and intercontinental research organizations. She's also a published freelance writer specializing in holistic healing and all things occult or occultic, in addition to taking on investigative casework and holding lectures. Montana teaches workshops on occult-related topics and is cast member to Travel Channel's new TV show, It Feels Evil. And Montana is a proud two-time direct descendant of the distinct bloodlines from the Salem Witch Trials. She's the 10th great-granddaughter of the historical Susannah North Martin, hanged in 1692. And she's also the 10th great-granddaughter of the historical Rebecca Shelley Addington Chamberlain, who died in prison in 1692 whilst awaiting execution. Montana maintains that because ghosts are interdimensional energies, the whole of the paranormal and parapsychological fields are subtopic to the studies of theology and spirituality. Both an ordained minister and pagan priestess, she's obtaining her PhD in holistic theology. A Whitefish, Montana native. Montana presently resides in Portland, Oregon. To connect with Montana, you can check out the site at montanajordan.com. Man, that is a bio right there. That's good. Thanks for coming on. Again, it's good to have you back. Are you there, Montana? I see you. I don't know why I can't. I can see your level going up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. There you go. That's weird, huh?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
That is weird. Yeah, you were cutting out too. Okay. Yay. Well, hello. Yes, thank you so much for having me back. I'm so honored. We had so much fun last time I was on your show, so I'm excited to be back. And happy Samhain.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I am. You might. I'm getting that echo again, but yeah, I'm up here like in New York.
I'm getting that echo again, but yeah, I'm up here like in New York.
It's kind of crazy because it's pretty Halloween-y up here. When you get close to the Great Lakes, everything's like overcast. So now we're getting like 4 or 5 days of overcast. And then we got all of the colors, but I've never seen colors like this in the fall. So yeah, it's pretty cool looking up here, actually. I'm getting a hell of a lot more Halloween spirit here than I did in Arkansas. So yeah, I guess happy holidays to you too, huh?
Happy. Yeah. You know what? Your connection is horrible. You keep cutting out. So let me run into the other room. Let's move this. Maybe I need to be closer to my router because you do not sound wonderful.
Yeah, because all my stuff's directly hooked up here. I can't hook up Wi-Fi. I can't.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like
so sorry for the delay. Give me 1 second. Hold on.
What do you call it? It's like a radio, or it's like a networking kind of technicality thing. It's like a no. You don't do that. But I mean, with guests, it doesn't really matter. If you guys want to join our chat room, you can go to thefringe.fm/chat room. Night Stalker's in there, Salcedo's in there, Mike's in there. I guess we're getting close to Halloween. Yeah, I got 111 megs down and like 30 up, so I'm good here. Yeah, I hear you now. Can you hear me okay?
Okay. Yeah, you do sound a little bit better. That's weird. Okay, yeah, please let me know if I start to cut out again. You were cutting out during my bio, so hopefully that works better.
Yeah, it should. It's probably just some kind of interference. You know, Wi-Fi's good until something cuts through. And with all this 5G crap going on, you never know what's interfering nowadays. And all the routers have 5G in them too, so...
Yeah, and especially right now, because you're absolutely right. For that reason, things are being interrupted from a technological standpoint. But I have Verizon, so I had an issue with my connectivity recently and was like on hold with Verizon for an hour, right? Like always. And the Verizon associate was explaining to me that, you know, because everybody's literally at home right now, that, you know, there's like, you know, millions and millions of people on Wi-Fi, so things are going to be slow. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yes, ma'am, you know, you're right. That is your job, you know, to know that and tell me that. And then I probably shouldn't have done this. I went off on a tangent. I was like, oh, but that's not the only reason, ma'am. Don't you know, with COVID and our current state of affairs and, this intergalactic battle that we're in the middle of right now, spiritually and everything that's happening here on Earth, that's affecting the Wi-Fi? She's like, okay, ma'am.
So you're talking to you. Yeah, so you're talking to the.
Yeah.
Well, I worked at Verizon, so I'm sure they're used to all that.
I know. Yeah, I was just like, oh crap! I said too much. I showed the poor Verizon lady too much of my crazy. But yeah, it's what my sisters Solaris, Blue Raven, and Niche and I talk about all the time. We discussed it last night actually on our monthly radio show that we have on Revolution Radio. Is called Cyber Witch Cafe. So we center on Cyber Witch Cafe. We center on all things witchy, so witchcraft, occultism. Of course, we discussed the impending Samhain and just talked about how the three of us we're feeling like we're each getting these massive psychic hits lately, and how we think it's related to raising the collective consciousness, and how that ties into our political breakdown of society that we're seeing right now and everything that's happening in the world, that this is a lot bigger than people tend to realize, and we are approaching this intergalactic battle, and that things are scary right now, and things are going to continue to get worse. And of course, it's timely because it's October. So with the most revered pagan Sabbath, Samhain, October 31st, just around the corner, things are becoming more enlivened. So this is definitely the month to tread carefully and work on your shadow self and your inner self, and really focus on self-care.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that's a good thing too. Self-care. But, another thing too is like what I feel like that they're doing is also trying to disconnect everybody as well too. So I don't allow the disconnection to happen. Not on my end. Like self-care is obviously a one thing that I do, but if I feel like I need to make a connection, I'm going to do that too, because I'm not going to play this game that they play. Like I probably should have been quarantined. I don't know, like maybe 30 times or something by now, but I don't know. I haven't.
Are you serious? You haven't gotten sick, have you?
No,
have you been okay?
No, but according to I haven't been sick at all. But according to these people, if you go places or do anything, you should quarantine yourself. Or or they're going to quarantine you or whatever, right? Like, I'm not doing anything different. I'm not saying I don't care about people, because I do, and I know people are getting sick and dying. But people get sick and die every day. And you're not going to make me feel like crap unless if I'm sick, then, I'll stay home. But it's like, I don't know.
That's true.
Even
I hear ya.
Even when I went in the store today, like there's sign, there's like a mandatory mask or whatever. I go in there, I tell the lady, I'm like, look, I don't have a mask. She's like, I don't care. Just come on.
Oh,
in.
Seriously? Like you didn't even get kicked out?
No.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think it's like a lot of times is like I really believe in hermetics. Whatever's going on inside of you is like what's going to happen around you.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes, no, I have a lot of respect for that.
Yeah, so I don't. I'm not in denial about what's going on, but I'm not going to stop living my life. Because that's what they want you to do. They want you to stop living your life and die. I ain't doing that.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, and now that we're talking about it, this is definitely, not a favored opinion, but I don't care. I don't agree with wearing masks. I think that it is a fear response. And what you just said, Joe, I understand, and I embrace that, COVID is something real and it is affecting people on a major level right now. I do not believe that it's just a virus. I think that it's a bioengineered weapon. And I think that our government, as well as others, is has been aware of it, and that our government is working in cahoots with other governments. And I think that it's all part of the larger scheme, like working with the bad ETs in this intergalactic battle that I keep circling back to because I can't help it right now. That's like, the one thing that's on my mind right now, because that's the reality that we're in right now. It's very real, and it is happening right now. And so I understand that we live in a society and that, we need to adhere to certain rules and to be respectful and take care of ourselves and take care of other people. Absolutely. However, I don't agree with 99.9% of what the media has been telling us. I think it's all false information. And I think that it is mainly to ignite fear into the general public and to, put fire under the butts of the ignorant or the people that are crazy religious, like specifically the Christians. And I'm certainly not trying to pick a fight with them or anybody right now, but it seems like there are certain categories of people that are following suit with what they're being told right now. And I don't agree with that. I see that those are the people that are not on the high end of our human spiritual evolution, and that's where we're supposed to be right now. So I think that COVID and our current state of affairs and everybody running around being scared and what you just said, like, afraid to live your life and afraid to leave your house, I think it's all a part of a long-term strategy. And I think that things are going to get worse before they get better.
Yeah, because even my family doctor, he was like, hey, I asked him, I was like, come on, tell me what's up, right? Is this real? And he just kind of looked at me and he's like, well, okay, well, the virus is real, but the stuff they're telling you, the severity of it, the numbers, all that stuff, he's like, I don't know. He was kind of real hesitant because he don't want to say certain things, but you can tell he was trying to tell me, it's like, man, some of this stuff's chalked up for real,
Yeah.
And doctors know that stuff. People in the medical field, they see what's going on. They know what's going on. It's nothing different to them. You got people dying of the flu or people dying of heart disease but it's not like, I'm not saying it's not a pandemic. I think it's just, I don't really know, honestly. I'm not going to pretend like I know that there's something going on out there, but I feel in my gut there's an alternate agenda for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, it feels more like population control,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely something I've considered. Yeah, when this started back in the spring. And like you, I don't know either, but I think now is the best time to really trust our guts, to really engage in radical self-care and to really explore a deeper, more intimate relationship with the self, and to really try to listen to your inner voice and to figure out, what is really happening in your environment around you and what is true and what is not true. And furthermore, to extend that to your metaphysical environment, to really work to look beyond the veil and to see, what is happening, not just inside you, but outside of you. I feel like there are so many external forces right now that are not fighting for us, but fighting against us and fighting with us. And when I say external, I don't just mean, our political leaders that I don't agree with, or, other members of society that may not agree with my opinion, but external forces as in like the bad, toxic, intergalactic, extraterrestrial energies that are absolutely in charge of what's happening on Earth right now. And I think that we are going to start seeing even more strange weather patterns and more earthquakes, bad earthquakes. And I think that people need to get prepared for things getting worse.
That's scary.
I know.
You're scaring me.
I know, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, bye. Thanks for having me.
No, it's like, I'm not scared. I'm not really afraid. Like, look, if something's going to happen, it's going to happen. I think I'm one of those people that like, I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like I'll be okay, or I'm either going to die, or I'm going to be okay. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
you know what? Even if you do die, aren't you going to be 100 times better off? Like, it's time to leave this planet, dude. Like, Earth is done. Earth is swallowing itself whole. So yeah, it's time to die. It's time to be reincarnated and see, what else is out there.
Like other planets, you're just done with Earth, huh?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I had the same conversation with Solaris when I was on her show. What was it?
Oh, yeah.
Forget the name. I forget whatever show was on. It was on Revolution Radio. It was late at night.
And that would be which one is that? Is that Raven Star's Witching Hour?
Yeah, the Witching Hour. That's what it was. Yeah. Fun show, right? I was like, oh that's sad, Solaris, because like I take a little bit different mentality. I'll probably go down with Earth and the people in it,
Yeah.
Just because I want to, I don't know, I like life. Love life.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, no, I have great reverence for the many stages of life. I, take good care of my bio body. I call it my meat suit, my meat sack, my stupid meat sack that I'm stuck in while I'm here on Earth, right? So as much as I want to explore and, get back to, my cosmic DNA, that I have to take good care of my bio body because it houses my spirit body. So I respect that. But I'm also very interested in what lies beyond. And in doing that, promoting and educating and spreading death positivity. And so that's one of my hashtags, yay death. So I say that all the time, yay death, yay death.
I bet people think you're dark, don't they? They think you're like you're the darkest woman on the planet.
Yeah, but I'm okay with that. And I think it's kind of silly that because I've gotten in trouble with it a few times before, and that's fine. I understand that living here in North America, where we're supposed to be a predominantly white Christian culture, right? So me running around saying no, yay death, people think that means I'm talking about suicide
or you're killing somebody. Yeah, that probably.
Exactly. It's like, no, it's like looking at it from a pagan perspective, a theologian's perspective, an occultist perspective, understanding from an academic grand scale that death is the most sure and beautiful and profound event that any of us share. And that makes us all connected on an energetic level. And how beautiful is that? And understanding that death and yay death and spreading death positivity is so healthy and it's so holistic. And that is really the basis of doing what people call shadow work. We're getting in touch with your darkness. And I say all the time that your individual darkness ought to be respected and not feared.
I totally agree. Yeah, because you know why? Here's what happens, and we could talk about this too. I made this little this channel in our Discord server called October Rust. Now, after the Typo Negative album. And I call it that because it's like I want it to talk about your dark side and death and those things, because the time of year I like to embrace it myself, because if you don't embrace it, then what comes after that is things that are much worse, like guilt, shame, self-hate, etc. It's not to say we don't want to better ourselves, but you cannot deny the things that are inside you that are dark. They're not going to go away. You can't change them. They're always going to be there. You just have to know what they are and be, till you embrace it, you can't master it, don't you think?
Oh, yes, sir. I love that. That was well put. And just to clarify for all of our listeners that when I talk about my individual darkness or your individual darkness, that does not equate to evil or anything evil or anything bad. So I'm not talking about badness. I'm not even talking about, toxicity. I'm talking about these deep, dark things that make us who we are, you know, our secrets, our desires, these our weird quirks, our fears, any of these things that really make us, you know, that really make up a not just our human DNA, but our cosmic DNA. And that's something that Solaris, Blue Raven, and I talk about all the time. She always talks about the cosmic DNA. And I love and respect and admire this woman and her work so much. I never disagree with her. She always impresses me. And that, you know, we are here stuck in, you know, this human time and this human timeline and on this human earth. And because we're stuck in our stupid meat sacks, that we have to adhere to the laws of physics. So that means I can't float, that, you know, gravity affects me, right? But once I shed my stupid meat sack, once I die, yay death, once my you know, I'm able to finally shed this physical body, because I've been in many before. Reincarnation is absolutely real. So once I shed this biosuit, then I have more freedom to run around and travel as astrally and as spiritually as I do in my dream state, or when I'm, you know, experimenting with psychedelics, or when I'm, you know, in a deep meditative trance. So it's, for me, it all circles back to like really honoring your own true self and getting very intimate with who you are and what your fears are, and really working towards releasing these fears and shedding what no longer serves you. And that's like I just said, that's, you know, the basis of shadow work and the basis of really owning to your own darkness. And once you start to understand this and shed it, then it is easier to run around saying yay death, because you realize that you're not afraid of death, because you welcome change and you mimic Mother Gaia and you welcome the seasons. And just like Mother Gaia, you know, sheds what no longer serves her, as daughters of the great earth and the great universe, I think it's so healthy and holistic that we mimic her. And so right now is a time, because it's October and because of our impending Sabbath, because of our impending Samhain, October 31st, now is the time to act as Mother Gaia and get rid of what no longer serves us, to take advantage of all of this extra death and destruction and demise that's happening around us, and to also put to death what no longer serves us. And that means doing the dirty work. That means doing your shadow work and getting in touch with what your fears are, because that is, I think, truly the only thing we have to be afraid of is ourselves.
Fear. Yeah, that's right. You got it. Fear is the fetter that binds you. It binds you all the way, for sure.
Exactly.
So, you know what?
Yeah. So people,
let's get into this some more. But we got to go into our break here already. Montana Jordan's back. We'll be right back. More Lighting the Void coming up. Your chance to win tickets to the FringeFest.com. That's coming up too. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Are you stressed? I mean, who isn't? Anxiety creeping in? No, not that. Is sleep hard to attain because your brain just won't slow down? We're living in crazy times, and the fear knob has been turned up. Okay, there's an answer. Take a big breath, exhale, and go log on to AncientLifeOil.com. CBD, broad and full spectrum, organic and non-GMO CBD for you to enjoy. Change your tune from fear to calm. from brain overload to clear thinking. 0.003 THC on full spectrum and 0% THC on broad spectrum. Competitive pricing with the best quality. Also know everything is going to get better. No worries. Be happy. CBD can help calm so your nerves don't think they're a 6-string electric guitar. Enjoy life, smile, and log on to ancientlifeoil.com for great CBD. That's ancientlifeoil.com. You'll be glad you did.
Have you ever seen an ad or banner which brought you a feeling that someone is reading your mind or even listening to your conversations? Your online data is being used against you. Surfshark is a VPN service that makes online privacy protection easy and attainable. You can use it on as many devices as you'd like simultaneously. Surfshark encrypts all internet traffic sent to and from your devices and ensures that your IP address remains hidden. The VPN service that we use at UFO Seekers plus 1 month free for $1.99 a month. Visit surfshark.deals/seekers.
What do you think would happen if you bring the Fringe FM together with leading voices in the paranormal and unexplained? What if no topic were off limits, from cryptids to conspiracies to astrology, psychic abilities, and even ufology? And what would happen if you broadcast this event in crystal clear video, streaming live around the world and allowing viewers like you to interact with their favorite presenters? Then you would have created the monster that is the Fringe Fest 2020. 2 nights only, Friday, October 30th and Saturday, October 31st. For more information and to get your tickets, visit thefringefest.com. That's thefringefest.com. Trick or truth? The only thing scarier is not being there. That's Friday, October 30th and Saturday, October 31st. Get your tickets now before they sell out at thefringefest.com.
I'm Clyde Lewis. You are listening to The Fringe FM.
You're listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM. Ryan Gable here, and I'd like to invite you to my radio broadcast, The Secret Teachings, airing 5 nights a week right here at midnight Pacific on The Fringe FM. Whether you enjoy history, the paranormal, symbolism, the occult, magic, parapolitics, or our annual Super Bowl show, our breakdown of the music entertainment industry, or our practical look at health, we have something for you that's unique, informative, and fun in rare form. Find us at facebook.com by searching facebook.com/The Secret Teachings. Find us online by searching www.thesecretteachings.info. Or you can email us at rdgable, rdgable, @yahoo.com. That's The Secret Teachings, Monday through Friday, right here at midnight Pacific on The Fringe.
Hey, is that a new music app?
Yeah, check it out. Surfer Music Discovery. It links to thousands of online stations, but the twist is you see the song names and artists that are now playing live.
That's different. No guessing. Looks like a waterfall of music.
So many formats. Rock, oldies, country, R&B, jazz, and a whole lot more.
How's that spelled?
Surfer. S-U-R-F-R.
Is it expensive?
It's free. No need to sign up or sign in.
Get the Surfer Music app free from Google Play.
Calling all
or
witches, warlocks, goblins, and ghouls. Join us for a 2-day Halloween extravaganza featuring the biggest names in the paranormal universe. Friday, October the 30th and Saturday, October the 31st. Get your tickets before they sell out at thefringefest.com. That is thefringefest.com. Trick or truth, the choice is yours.
To call Joe, pick up the phone, dial 1-800-588-0335, toll free from the United States or Canada. You're listening to Lighting the Void Radio.
Man, you're getting close to Halloween for sure. I think it's time this is like the perfect kickoff. The 2 weeks before Halloween. Man, Pacho, you're doing such a good job. Your chance to win tickets, stay tuned. I'll be giving away that stuff when you call in. First person to call in, once I open the phone lines up, you're going to win those tickets to thefringefest.com. It's an online event. It's a Zoom event, actually. But we're going to have a lot of cool stuff. We're going to have live performers. I don't want to give away everything. I'm going to wait we give away everything, like what's really coming. Because I got a feeling like the last week we're just going to sell just a crap ton of tickets. We're probably going to sell out before then, but whatever. Montana Jordan's our guest tonight. Probably one of the witchiest people I know. I don't know how to say that. I don't know what else to say about you other than that. You know, you got all these fancy like titles and TV shows and all this stuff. Are you still doing a TV show?
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's everything's on pause right now because of COVID.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Where'd you go? You're fading.
I'm here.
Okay, it sounded weird. We're having some tech stuff, ain't we?
Yeah, the music's really loud.
Oh, is that what it is? That's probably what it is. Sorry, it's my fault.
Oh, there we go. Okay, now I can hear you better.
My fault.
I'm like, why is he asking me a question and then turning the music up? Okay. Thanks for having me tonight.
Yeah, no, it's that's I got all the like I'm telling you. You see all this new gear I got. I forget I got like 5 different outputs and monitors here sometimes.
Seriously, that's hardcore. Like that's an intimidating setup. I'm not allowed to ever come over and push any of those buttons.
Man, I feel like I'm finally captain of a ship though, so it's cool. Like the Starship Enterprise, Captain's Log.
You should feel like that. I love that. Yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah, we're taking off here. So no one heard that music, by the way, just you. It was just all up in your ear.
Oh, okay. Because I don't already feel crazy enough doing what I do.
No.
You hear that? No? Okay.
No, nobody heard it. It's just your monitor. But anyways, like, I want to talk about this fear stuff because look, obviously you're the kind of person that can face your fear and just go for something, right? Like, whatever, you can do that. But maybe, but I still believe like everybody has fears. Like you had to have had at some point in your life where there was something really. Or maybe you haven't, but I'm just curious. Haven't you ever had to like face down something extremely hard that you're afraid of, or no?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And this is such a great question. Thank you for asking me. This is such a great topic, and it could not be more relevant right now, considering our current state of affairs and because of our impending Samhain, because of the holiday that's just around the corner. But I can think of so many examples. So let's narrow it down to 3 because I want to illustrate a really detailed picture for our listeners right now. So the first one I'm going to discuss again from a humanistic or a bio-suited standpoint that for all of us, I believe that terminology is self-definitive. And so like, you know, the word happiness is going to mean something different to me than it does to you, right? Because what makes me happy is probably not going to make you happy. Something else is going to make you happy. So as a published writer, as a linguist, I have a lot of respect for terminology and a lot of respect for words and communication. But communication is a crapshoot because it means something different to everybody. And when my opinion is that once everything is boiled down, that the main, not even a universal, but the multiversal language that we are all connected with and by into is vibrations and frequency. So if we talk about fears or individual darkness, it's always going to be self-defining based off of, you know, your background. If you were brought up in an institutionalized religion, you might have Catholic guilt. Somebody might not. So that means guilt is going to mean something different. So it's the trickle down effect, you know, it's a snowball effect. So it's going to mean something different to everybody. So with that said, and that's the way it's supposed to be, because true spirituality is you know, an ever-changing, self-defining journey. So, and it's supposed to be lonely. It's supposed to be so intimate, and it's supposed to be scary. That's how you know that you're doing it right. When you are facing your fears and you're facing like these dark, scary parts of yourself that make you uncomfortable. So to circle back to what I just said, I want to take a moment to discuss our humanistic fears. So what I mean by that is something that I fear as a human, something that I fear being stuck in my meat sack right now. So for me, actually, this came up pretty recently in a relationship in my human life. And I wrote an Instagram post about this. So those of you joining us tonight, thank you so much for being here and listening. You can find me more information about me on my site, like Joe said at the beginning, montanajordan.com, and all my social media is plugged into that. So you can go look at my some of my recent Instagram posts and you'll see what I'm talking about. But with the impending Samhain, it's so imperative to realize that now is the time to really work on your inner self and your shadow self. And as Mother Earth is getting ready for hibernation mode, you know, like we just talked about a couple minutes ago, she's killing off what no longer serves her, right? So animals are dying, animals are being slaughtered, the weak are being weaned off, and the leaves are dying and falling from the tree. So now is quite literally the time to revere in the whole yay death mentality, my hashtag yay death, and to really look at death positivity from the holistic, healthy event that it is for all of us. So for me, a fear from a humanistic standpoint, I had something come up recently in a personal relationship, and I had a fear, I had an insecurity that was triggered. And so I think we can, again, for anybody, because this is, all self-defining, anybody that is having a hard time working through an issue, somebody that is made to feel insecure or unloved, whatever that fear might be, if it's some sort of a human, a biological fear that is inside of you that is triggering you. And I think you guys know what I mean when I say that, like when when you're feeling really uncomfortable, when somebody makes you feel really insecure, it's hardly ever about them. It's always about you and how you are translating the situation and the time and energy that you are willing to put into that. So bottom line is that we are always in control. Ergo, we are always in control of our insecurities. But because we're trapped in our stupid meat suits, part of being human is being flooded with all of these stupid human emotions all the time, and it's confusing. Being a human is hard. So I think it's about really working on your humanistic side and understanding that detachment equates to self-love, really learning to love yourself so freely that you are able to detach yourself from your environment around you. And then
okay, go ahead. So you're telling me that you're having in a relationship, an insecurity was triggered. I've had the same thing happen. And I think, I think it goes, anyways, you can finish, but it goes pretty deep. Usually those triggers cut all the way to almost like childhood stuff sometimes,
Exactly. Yep. And that's the whole point of it. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. That's actually an important point that I should have mentioned, that these types of insecurities and triggers that I'm talking about, they are typically from a parapsychological standpoint. They typically took place because of some sort of trauma, because of some sort of pain that you experienced. And 9 times out of 10, I think a lot of these things happen when we are too young to even hold a correct memory of what it was. So we might not remember, this traumatic thing that happened to us that changed us, but we just hold on to the feeling. So we just know that something is there and it doesn't quite feel right because we don't necessarily have the tools to identify and verbalize. And that's why I'm all about holistic healing. I'm a big fan of talk therapy and eating holistically, and again, engaging in radical self-care, because once you start to really apply these secrets to yourself and your own individual life and getting more intimate with yourself, then it's easier to spot these things. It's easier to take better control of these insecurities and triggers. And that, from a parapsychological standpoint, that is what makes you more powerful. That's what makes a witch witchier.
Is that how you faced it down? Like, you didn't use magic or anything like that? Like,
yeah, no, that's a good question. No, I did not with this, because this was a human issue. This was something that somebody did to me in my past that hurt me, and I didn't realize that it was surfacing in the present day. And that's life. That happens to all of us, and it's going to keep happening until we die. So it's not about eradicating that, because that's a part of our human experience, and that needs to be honored. Absolutely. Always honor who you are and how you feel, and honor the different stages of your spiritual growth. But that doesn't mean that, it's an excuse to, feed your fear. Because I honestly, truly think that the only thing that we have to be afraid of is ourselves. Well, that and the bad ETs that I think that are circling around us, but that's a whole nother issue. But just,
I'm just telling you, like, in my experience, in my experience, on the other side of fear is good things, if you can just push through it.
Yes. I love that. Exactly. It's so simple. Yeah. And one of the questions that I get asked all the time is, Montana, you're not just a ghost hunter, you're a demon hunter. And I hate those phrases, actually.
They call you a demon hunter.
And they're both disrespectful. We're not hunting anything. Yeah. But, some people are light workers. I'm probably what you would call a dark worker. So I don't run around and I don't see bright lights and angels and rainbows and sparkles like, most people in my field claim to do. I see the scary shit.
Right.
And I think it's because I have worked so hard over these years to get to where I am that these things are just more in my view. And because I don't let them scare me, because I understand that I'm interconnected with them and they're interconnected with me, it just makes it so much easier to coexist. And that is the metaphysical, multiversal environment that we live in. It's actually pretty darn simplistic.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So then so this comes back to this. I want to talk about this insecurity thing, and you're talking about a relationship. Did you identify it? Like, when you were talking to this person, did you say, you know what? Like, this is me. This isn't you, or something like that?
Let me think. I don't think I did in that moment, because they made me mad. So I was like, no.
You were triggered, right? Yeah.
Exactly. But I will say that I am proud of myself, because I have put in the year's worth of work and facing these fears and understanding, like, where does this come from and why does it make me so uncomfortable? Like, why do I react the way that I react? Why did I get so emotional? Was it because that person called me out on it? Absolutely. But that means that they love me. That means that they support me in my spiritual growth, to call me out on my shit. And I'm a big component of tough love. I believe that, I'm not saying that everything is supposed to be difficult.
No,
I don't necessarily agree with the whole Buddhist tenet that life is all about suffering, but there is a lot of truth in that. So being that we can expect that things are going to be difficult, but it's our prerogative to translate that difficulty. It's our prerogative to interpret what we want for ourselves. And that's where alchemy and magic and witchcraft come into the line of view, that we have this, I believe everybody possesses very strong parapsychological capabilities, and everybody has the capability to manipulate energy and to turn it into something healthy, to turn it into something more positive.
Yeah, I totally agree. So I often wonder, though, that a lot of the stuff that we when we get triggered, like, if I remember being around as a child, I don't know why, I guess what I'm trying to say. What am I trying to say? So you were talking about the love and light thing earlier, right? So there's this idea that love and light is all like this, what everything's about, stay positive, sunshine, rainbows, etc. But
so not me.
But why? But that's what a lot of people say, though, right? So
I
why?
know, it's so annoying.
Why if that's reality, then why do people, or why do things mess with children so much? I'm talking about like,
why do they what?
Whatever these things are that mess with children. Like I was messed with as a child spiritually by things that I had no idea what they were.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so it can't be a place of love, light, and rainbows, but everybody's like, hey, well, everything's all great. And then you do this to yourself. Really? I don't know.
Yeah. That's a really good point. Actually, we probably already talked about this, but I have a bad memory anyways. I was one of those children growing up also. I was harassed by what I call a dark entity when I was a little girl. Some people would listen to my description of it and automatically say that it was a demon. I don't believe in demons and I don't believe in angels. I believe in healthy and toxic extraterrestrial energies. So my opinion, to circle back to, my rant about incorrect terminology, I think that calling something an angel or calling something a demon is disrespectful because those are more or less very Christianized concepts. And that is just like, a little tiny drop in this big theological ocean of metaphysics, right? So we need to be more respectful and we need to be careful about words that we use and how we approach these certain situations. And when I was a little girl, I was harassed by something that I thought was very dark and very toxic and very mean, and it scared me. And it took me years worth of facing that fear and doing that kind of shadow work to understand what it was and why it was happening to me. And now when somebody asks me, Montana, you're such a weirdo. How did you grow up to do what you do? I give credit to this dark entity that harassed me as a child, because even though I was terrified of it for years, and it could very well be, the basis for some of my childhood trauma that I haven't been able to connect with yet, connect with wholly. But I think that these experiences and all the times that I got scared by this thing that was floating around my house, I'm grateful for it now, because I think that whatever that entity was, it knew that I had something different in me. It knew that I was special, and it was making me hone these abilities that I have. And because of these experiences, it made me more curious, and it made me more strong, and it made me tougher. And so I think that a lot of times, once people realize that these, scary or bad or unhealthy memories or triggers that we are allowing ourselves to hold on to, that's really just like the humanistic side of things versus the metaphysical side of things. It's really understanding that we all possess such great prowess of magic and power. We all possess amazing parapsychological capabilities. Some of us it's just easier for us to tap into than others. But that circles back to the whole engaging in radical self-care, getting rid of these things that are holding us back, and working on detachment from the human world, working on honoring your bio body, sure, but only because that means that we recognize that our spirit body has so much room to play and so much work to do. So letting it do whatever it needs to do. And that means, being true to yourself. And it seems to me that most of the things that tend to hold us back on an individual level are just our fears. And our fears are so simple. And our fears are usually related to something that happened so many years ago. So why wouldn't we put the work in, whether that means experimenting with, psychedelics or hypnotherapy, hardcore meditation, whatever sort of spiritual practice works for you. Why wouldn't you gift yourself with that? Why wouldn't you give yourself the greatest gift to, really let yourself go and to fully live this human experience the way you were meant to live it?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's, yeah, man, there's some deep stuff I want to get into because I know this is happening. Even Mary Jacina told me this. She's like, all the way to Halloween, there's going to be some major tests go on with people, like, about like the big ones. It's like the big ones, the big fear ones that you've always been afraid of. But here's the thing, like I swear on everything, if you're listening to this and there's this thing that's like in your gut that, you got to do, but you're afraid or whatever, you don't know. And there's a lot of uncertainty stuff too. That's scary too, right?
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, like if you just go through it, you'll see. There may be a little bit of struggle. You don't know. But I promise you, when you get on the other side of it, because I've been there before, you're going to never feel that way again in this situation. Never.
Right. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, even just now, just listening to you, like your tone of voice changed a little bit and you sounded more grounded. You sounded more powerful. So I can feel you. So like what you just said is a true statement because I felt it. You did do that.
Yeah, I've been here I've been in this situation so many times in my life where I'm in a situation that you're in such fear that your gut is wrenched or you're so triggered that you don't know what's up or down and you're afraid or you're uncertain. And I promise you, on the other side of this thing that you're feeling is freedom and power.
Right. Gosh, I love that. And that's another example, because I said I had 3 examples of talking about, what releasing insecurities and, honing into my darkness means to me. So that leads me into my second example. I'm going to be a little weird and vague about this, but I have a really bad memory, a bad short-term and long-term memory. And I have put in, and I could be off track here. I don't think I am because I'm trusting my instinct with this, but I have put in years worth of work as to where that memory issue stems from, why I have it, what happened, what triggered it. And I think I have figured out what that was. I think something very traumatic happened to me when I was a baby. And
okay.
And I don't even mean like a human did something bad to me. I think that this is something very parapsychological. And my mother and I are very close. My mom is the best. And I have tried talking to her about this a few times over the years. And I'm like, okay, Mom, like I've narrowed this down. Like, I know this sounds really crazy, but I feel very strongly that, perhaps this happened to me when I was a baby. How do you feel about that? And that's a hard topic to approach with a mother because my mom's like, no, I'm a good mom. I never let anything bad happen to you. And I'm like, no, that's not what I mean, Mom. Like, I'm not saying you drop me on my head. I'm saying that I think that unbeknownst to her that this major parapsychological event happened to me, and it happened to me when I was in my bio body. So it triggered these humanistic insecurities and fears. And I think that I have pinpointed what this event is, and it is probably the scariest thing that I've ever done as a human. And I have been teaching myself over the years self hypnosis and different forms of self-discipline in terms of meditation and, whatever something weird and occultic I can get my hands on. And I think I'm getting closer to it, and the closer I get to it, the more terrified I am. But that's also where the human part of me comes up.
That's a big breakthrough you're about to have, like a massive one.
Yep, exactly. And I feel like I'm getting closer, and I feel like I'm getting closer, but I also feel like I'm getting validation from the universe around me that I am, because I'm having more wonderful, positive things happen around me. So I think that's validation from the universe that I'm on a healthy path, right? But at the same time, I also feel that I've got what I call my bad ETs. I feel like there are good ETs and bad ETs. I feel like the bad ETs are becoming more aware of me, and I am more prone to attacks. And I actually talked about that on my radio show last night.
I'm gonna look. That's a big topic too, and now I want to ask you about that. We're at the top of the hour, but that is, I've went through that personally. I got a friend going through that. I talked to Solaris about this too. So do things before we go into the break. Let me just ask you this question. There's a question, an age old question, like when we have bad dreams or we feel a presence, is that really us haunting our own dreams because of our own stuff? Or are things actually interfering? Right?
That's a good question.
That's what I want to talk about when we come back from the break. And probably hear some stories. Also, we'll give away those tickets. We'll be right back with Montana Jordan. If you guys stay with us, more Lighting the Void coming up.
News on the Fringe FM. I'm Jess Rogie. Do you want to go to space and experience zero gravity? Sure, right? Do you want to take a pod designed with the largest windows ever put into space? Maybe. Billionaire Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin capsule is designed to carry up to 6 passengers who will float in zero gravity for 10 minutes while taking in views from about 300,000 feet above the surface of the Earth. Orain Cornell, the director of astronaut and orbital sales at Blue Origin, explains the capsule.
As you know, the crew capsule sits on top of the booster for its flight up to space. But why don't we check out what's inside the capsule? Are these big, beautiful windows. These are the largest windows that have ever flown in space. In fact, over a third of the capsule are windows. 6 seats, 6 windows. Everybody gets a window seat. Next stop on the tour, the window sills. You see, anything in the capsule that's noted as blue is what you can hold onto as you're floating around the capsule up in space. Last but not least, we've kitted out the crew capsule with a lot of cameras. We want you to be able to share your memories with your loved ones for years to come.
What about the restroom? She never mentions the restroom. Well, Jeff Bezos says go in advance. The whole experience takes about 40 minutes round trip. So I guess if you have to go within that 40 minutes, just hold it. Roanoke. What happened to the residents of Roanoke? According to Ancient Origins, researchers have presented new archaeological evidence of what they think represents survivors of the lost colony of Roanoke. Most archaeologists agree that the Roanoke colonists were likely killed or assimilated into indigenous tribes, or perhaps died of disease or extreme weather, or simply relocated to an unknown location. But now, according to a press release from the First Colony Foundation, English pottery pieces that date back to the 1580s include jugs and pots used for food preparation. The researchers of the latest Roanoke colony theory claim that the artifacts recovered from Bertie County indicate long-term habitation by the Roanoke survivors. So perhaps they didn't disappear, they just moved. Mystery solved, possibly. This is the Rogie Report News on the Fringe FM. I'm Jess Rogie.
I'm Ryan Gable, and I want to remind you to keep your radio, phone, tablet, or computer tuned to the Fringe FM, and visit the website thefringe.fm to listen to the entire lineup of shows. You can also catch my broadcast, The Secret Teachings, Monday through Friday, beginning at 12 a.m. midnight U.S. Pacific Time, right here on the Fringe FM.
What happens when you bring the Fringe FM together with the world's leading paranormal experts and influencers? What if no topic was off the table, including paranormal events, conspiracy theory, witchcraft, psychic abilities, astrology, ufology, and more? And what would happen if you broadcast this event in crystal clear video live around the world, allowing viewers to interact with their favorite presenters? You would have created the monster that is the Fringe Fest 2020. 2 nights only, Friday, October 30th and Saturday, October 31st. Go to thefringefest.com for more info. Get your tickets today at thefringefest.com. That is thefringefest.com. Trick or truth, it's up to you.
The truth is out there, and so are we. KTLK, Digital Broadcasting, The Fringe FM.
You are listening to KTLK Digital Broadcasting, The Fringe FM, where you can catch The Secret Teachings with Ryan Gable 5 nights a week after Lighting the Void with Joe Roop.
Yahoy there, Gigi here from Shift Happens. Do you like to boogie down to topics such as ufology, the occult, and the mysteries behind our reality? Well, I invite you to join us every Friday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, that's 10 p.m. Eastern, as we like to punch that curiosity button and tickle that fancy. We tickle that fancy, but yeah, I don't know if that's the right analogy, but there's certainly a lot of tickling going on over here at Shift Happens. This is Jason Lindgren from Crow 777 Radio, and you can hear us 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Saturday night here on the Fringe FM.
Okay, for some reason, we're coming back into the show listening to I don't know, I feel like we're in Jamaica or something. This is not the track I wanted to play. So Montana Jordan's our guest tonight. And, yeah, so we're actually going into, we're going into the darkness here, of course. Kind of figured we would. So, yeah, I had asked you a question about, before the break, if we were actually, like when we have nightmares, I'm talking about reoccurring nightmares. Things that really freak us out. Are we haunting ourselves? Because I believe we can do that and just not know it. I believe our own subconsciouses can totally haunt ourselves from deep down. Or are there things actually like interfering with us, coming into our dreams? Not only that, there's been articles and all kinds of people talking about that stuff lately. I'm not one to push the fear, but honestly, I'd rather know the truth than to be in denial about it,
Yeah. No, I love that. Yep. Face your fears, right?
That's right.
That is a great topic. I would say my personal and professional answer to that is both. That yes, half the time it is probably us, and then the other half the time it is probably external energies interfering with us.
Yeah. What makes you think that, though?
Because I've seen it, I've experienced it several times over the years. So let's start with the external energy reference that these last few years, my line of work and my capabilities, I'm apparently opening myself up to not just ghost or paranormal encounters anymore, but full on extraterrestrial and parapsychological encounters. So these last few years, my perspective in terms of paranormal and parapsychological research work has shifted quite a bit because things aren't as paranormal as we thought they were. They're not just about ghosts and, you know, poltergeists or whatever other names and categories we can put the things, you know, that go bump in the night into. It's not that simple, and it's not that black and white, and it never was. That things are much more parapsychological than we thought they were, meaning that the individual self is so much more involved in what is happening. So I have taken casework before, and I've consulted professional investigations before, and this is outside of my TV show, It Feels Evil. I have done casework before where this has happened several times, several different locations, where this poor individual swore up and down that there was a ghost or a demon in their house, because those are like the two go-to terms that we use here in the States all the time, right? It's either a ghost or a demon. And so these people, and of course these cases were individualistic, but they had similarities. And the similarities were that these people swore up and down that there was something external in their house haunting them. And when I say external, I mean not the self, something outside of you, like like a ghost or something. But I have been starting to see more over the years that it's not just about a ghost haunting you. It's not that simple, that it is very often, and I'm seeing it more and more, and I think that it is happening more now because we are raising the collective consciousness, that it's not paranormal, meaning that it's a ghost. It's parapsychological, meaning it has something to do with the self, that I think that people possess more parapsychological skills than they realize, and they are the ones that are interfering with what's happening around them, and they don't even know it. They can't even identify it, and they don't have the tool set to verbalize it, so they just get scared. They get fearful, which circles back to why we need to engage in radical self-care, so that we understand how we translate into our environment and how we are powerful and how we actually are pretty much always in control of ourselves and what happens around us. So in particular, I have had cases where people thought that there was a ghost or a demon in the house, and my professional opinion was that these people were starting to essentially become woke, that their magic and their parapsychological abilities were starting to manifest, and they were the ones that were turning the lights on and off. They were the ones that were opening and closing the doors without even realizing it.
So see, I've experienced that too. Not with me, but with somebody else who was just in massive amounts of fear all the time. Mm-hmm. It was like a year ago, and there would be so much like freaking paranormal activity that happened, you know. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, man, you're doing this to yourself. But I had that kind of my thing's intuition. I don't know what that is, but even the times where I've thought, you know, like my intuition's wrong, I was wrong, I'm paranoid. only to find out months later that I was totally feeling what I was right, you know.
Right.
And I'm in this.
Surprised me.
Man, I am in this place where it's like, but I also do like come up with stuff in my head that's not there too, you know. So I'm having troubles trying to figure out what's what. That's been my thing, you know.
And I think that right there is the suffering that we were talking about at the top of the hour. That right there is the underlying painful, traumatic experience of being a human, understanding, you know, what reality means to you, understanding, you know, what it is that we're supposed to be fearful of, and, you know, what's really real and what the true truths are. And I'm like you. I think, like, when I think something is happening in my head, learning, I have this exercise where I step outside of myself and try to look at it from a different set of lens. And more often than not, that's me being insecure or me being triggered. Yeah. And once I'm able to identify that, then I'm like, okay, then this is a human-based response. And I'm not just a human. I'm a powerful, magical, spiritual goddess. So I can step outside of this human fear response right now because that was my defense mechanism. And that's fine. Like, I know to honor how I feel, but I also know that all of my feelings and all of my thoughts, I need to give myself permission to shift. So it's okay for me to be uncomfortable, but I tell myself, you know, you don't need to be afraid though. What are you really afraid of? You're always in control. So it's just, I think, undergoing that practice until you just get more comfortable with it, like with any new habit.
Yeah, okay. Because, yeah, it's confusing, man. And I feel like every day I do this thing called introspection, which I learned from a couple of people, but mainly Daskalos, who's just like this mystic guy. He said, you know, every day you should like think about what you did, how you reacted, that kind of thing. Because I think if we don't do that, then we start really pointing our finger at everything else, you know. And
absolutely,
you got to figure out what we're responsible for, not just physically and you know, practically, but also like metaphysically, what are we responsible for? Because at this point, we have to be past that thing where we tell ourselves that things are happening to us and we're not causing any of this stuff. Like, I mean, even the COVID thing, because of the state we're in, I believe, but I'm a hermeticist too. I believe that we caused this thing in some way. You know, we allowed it to happen. There was a lot of confusion and fear and all kinds of stuff going around. And, you know, it's the end of the world every 10 years. And you know what? Guess what? That's here.
Yeah.
You know, so like, what are we going to learn? I don't know. I'm trying to figure all this stuff out too, actually.
I know, right? And you know, like, we're always going to be, because, you know, we're stuck being a part of society. We're stuck on Earth right now. So, you know, there has to be some level of involvement. But the older I get and the more my ethics and morals and political views shift, I'm all about not labeling yourself. I'm all about, you know, allowing yourself to float the middle line and to understand that because we are living organisms, we are energetic organisms, we are constantly, by scientific definition, we are constantly always changing and growing and transmuting and turning into something new. And I don't just mean like when we go to bed at night and wake up, oh, it's a new day. I don't mean that. I'm not a Susie Sunshine kind of girl at all. I just mean from a scientific and from a metaphysical standpoint that we know that we are made up of energy, and energy can never be destroyed. Energy is always only altered and transmuted into something else. So again, that just circles back to magic and alchemy and, you know, shamanism and witchcraft, and understanding the more you understand who you are and what your role is or what you want your role to be, then that, and again, engaging in radical self-care and becoming, the strongest parapsychological person that you can be in any given moment and in any given day, allowing yourself to not be confined, to not be put into a box, to not be labeled, and to be the shifting, ever-changing living organism from inside out that you truly are, from a biological standpoint and from a spiritual standpoint. And there is also so much power in that too. And that also means, not just facing your own fears within yourself, but facing the fears of the environment that's around you, facing the fears of the system that we have structured, facing the fears of the patriarchal society that women are stuck in right now, and really, raising your voice and fighting back and working to make a change from inward out.
Yeah, it's well said. Yes, very well said. So, what types of things do you do for other people, though? Like if someone came to you and said, look, I cannot get over this negative thought. I have like all these dark thoughts and I see these dark things and it just doesn't go away. And I just want peace in my life. What do you tell that person?
I love that. It's funny because 9 times out of 10, people just want to see me do something on the Ouija board. So, so they'll be like, yeah, well, can you just pull out your Ouija board and we'll just ask the board what they think I should do. And I'll be like, okay. Because, I'll do it, whatever, my clientele feels that they need, because it's not about me telling somebody, who they are or what to do or what they need. I think that, any true great teacher, any true great sage, any true great spiritual person understands that it's just about supplying the tools and the resources and the support and giving that person room to grow,
and ask questions too, Like I think you just ask questions, try to figure it out. And I always say, people ask me stuff too. I tell them what I've been through, and I'll ask them questions. But then it's like, man, I don't know. I always say you might be different than me. Just trust yourself.
Definitely. I love that. And you know what? I say that all the time. People ask me great questions, and I'll be like, I don't know. And it's okay to say we don't know. That's the whole point, right? That we're all learning and growing together. So I think that's really important. But to answer your question more specifically, if somebody came to me and said what you said, hey, I'm experiencing these really dark thoughts, I would be, okay, what does dark mean to you? Because darkness means something different to me, obviously, than it does a typical person. So what does dark mean to you? And is this an insecurity, or is this a toxicity? Is it internal? Is it external? Do you know where it's stemming from? And again, I think this is just somebody circling back to a fear, and they probably don't even realize it's a fear. So helping them identify and verbalize what that might be. And I have also found over the years that it's not so easy just to do that in the daylight. It's not so easy just to do that like in our waking state, to just, sit across the table from each other and have a conversation about it, like we do with our therapist or, our partners. But for me, if somebody was new to the world of magic or witchcraft or alchemy, and they were like, I'm having a hard time with something right now, I think a very easy but very profound method to get to the bottom of this is actually through the sleep state. And other people call that through dream work. So allowing yourself to astral project, allowing your soul to travel while you're sleeping. And I don't just mean just, go to sleep and, tell me what you dreamed about. And, let's talk about the symbology in the dreams. Like, that's too simplistic. I don't mean that at all. I mean, engaging in a healthy, holistic bedtime routine, whatever that might be, for you individually, and allowing yourself to really open up as you fall asleep, because that's the whole point, where you are allowing your spirit body to detach from your bio body while you sleep. And while we're sleeping, that's when we are at our most vulnerable. So that, is very often, I think, when we have our most profound paranormal and parapsychological experiences. So it's important that we also learn to control our sleep state also, because we have all of these amazing things happening around us when we're asleep, but we don't always remember them because we're asleep, right? So I think it's about, meeting that middle.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's what we talk about. I really feel like conscious exploration, understanding your spiritual, metaphysical self, who you are, is the thing that will empower us to get over this, even on this earth. I know that there's the doom idea that this earth is doomed, and I get it too. Like, well, I'm still that person that's like, nah, we can do this. Come on, rah rah. Come on, Solaris, stay here. We need you. You're a leader, But I do understand how a person gets to like that level to where they're like, yeah, I've heard this before, like 3 or 4 times and nothing's changing. So I'm out,
Yep.
So,
Exactly.
Like I get that too.
That is something Solaris would say. Well, she did say that last night. And I completely agree with her. Solaris and my other co-host and my other sister Niche, 2 very strong, powerful women that I have, so much love and respect for. But we talk about that all the time. We're just like, yeah, like, we know that the earth is cool and like we're happy to be here and stuff. But at the same time, like we're ready to die. Like we're ready to move on. We don't want to be here anymore. Let's see what happens now.
Jesus. It sounds so bad though, right? I mean, the last person that I heard say that was my grandfather, and he's super bitter. And I asked him one day too. I was like, man, what? And I'm not saying you're bitter. I'm just saying that's the last time I heard someone say that. So, I was like, why are you so upset, man? Like, what's up? He's like, I'm tired of everything. I'm tired of this world. I'm tired of it. And I'm like, whoa, all right, dude. Okay, well, I get it. I do get it.
No, yeah, it's understandable. And I also think that could just very well be, like your higher self, like hitting its head on the metaphysical ceiling. It's like, with our cosmological DNA, we know that we aren't supposed to be here on Earth. We knew that we were somewhere else before this, and we're going to go somewhere else after this. So I think that that's just our higher calling. And I think that needs to be honored.
I can relate to that. I do feel like I say that all the time too. And I don't feel like I'm from this planet,
Yeah.
But I wonder sometimes, I got to tell you, just to be honest with you, I wonder sometimes if I'm saying that because things are just too hard for me to deal with, and I don't want to deal with it.
Ah, that sounds like a fear coming to the surface, my friend. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, because I do believe there are people that say, I don't belong here. I'm blah, 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 because they can't cope with something that they don't want to face.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. And, that's just the thing of it. I believe in total liberation. I believe that people should be allowed to do whatever they want, as long as that doesn't infringe upon me or my family. Right. As long as, I feel safe. So with that said, it's like what we were talking about at the beginning of the show, all of this mass fear behind having to wear masks everywhere we go, and but everybody's going to get sick. That's not true, so I wouldn't feel comfortable letting somebody tell me Well, as a woman, I'm not. Let me be like more firm here. I am not comfortable with anybody telling me what I can and can't do with my body, especially a man. And so I'm not going to tell somebody what they can and can't do with their body. I'm not going to yell at somebody for not wearing a mask because I don't know who they are. I don't know what their human experience is, you know. And when we start judging people on that level, then that means that, you know, oh, I think I'm better than you. I can tell you how to live your life. And it's all of that stupid, human, petty, trivial stuff that keeps us vibrating on a lower, unhealthy level. And there are always going to be people like that because we need people like that because, you know, we're a part of the great circle of life, right? Like there is a food chain and it applies with humans. You know, there are some people that are going to be lower on the metaphysical chain, and then some people, you know, that know better. You know, some people that are going to be vibrating higher, and they're going to be healthier, and they're going to have, you know, more of their shit figured out, right? It's pretty simple. So again, like for me, it just always circles back to radical self-care. And I think that that's what true witchcraft is. And that's what true spirituality is. And that it's about that is the very definition of parapsychology. You know, again, not paranormal, you know, not like, oh, I'm going to go ghost hunting. Oh, I caught an EVP. Always fun, always exciting. Like I will never turn down an investigation, but it's not about that anymore. It's about the parapsychology of it all. It's about parapsychological research work, and that has to start with the self on every level.
So when you talk about things like that, like, I'm not going to let somebody tell me what I can and can't do with my body. Basically, I'm hearing, what I hear when I hear that is, I'm not going to let somebody tell me what I can and can't do with my energy, because this is me, all of it.
Exactly.
You know, and it's, that's our personal choice. That's our personal sovereignty. You know, like we got to be able to, I feel like you're right. I feel like we have to be able to accept ourselves for who we are, regardless of what the rest of the world thinks, first and foremost, which sounds easy enough, but most people can't do that, you know, not right off the bat. And then accept our own, like our dark sides, our fears and our desires, like you were talking about. Embrace it, accept it, and then make a choice. Make the choice based on what you want and what you feel is best for you, you know, after that point.
Love that. Yeah. And that right there, that's like the fundamentals of holistic healthcare. You know, that's exactly it. And it's about, liberating yourself, you know, and whatever that might mean to the individual.
Yeah. So, and then, so that's the thing. Like, I think a lot of this stuff we're doing to ourselves, like, I don't know how much of it's terrestrial or extraterrestrial, but I think there is something to be said about the metaphysical realms and these elementals of things that we create based on our thoughts and our judgments and our fears, and egregores that have come back from the past, like you were talking about patriarchies and stuff like that. You think about all of those rules and regulations and stuff that still happen today in the East, you know, and people can do what they want, right? If they want to live in that culture, fine. But if you're in a place to where you can't, it's just frustrating to see where you can't be who you are and do what you want to do because of anybody else or any other energy, then what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing?
And I would even take that a step further that, you know, somebody, you know, let's say, you know, a man does approach me and he says, hey, Montana, I'm going to tell you what you can and can't do with your body. I obviously have every right to be upset about that. I obviously have every right to respond, you know, any way I see fit in that moment. But the point is understanding who you are on such a fundamental level that you realize that you can control your feelings. And that means that you realize that you have every second of every day, every situation, that you have a choice of how to react. to that situation. So I could get super upset about this guy trying to tell me what I can and can't do with my amazing, female, divine feminine goddess body. And, I can let it upset me, or I can just not let it upset me. And, this is just a very universal example, but the most relatable. So I can let it not upset me and not put time and energy into that, because if somebody is telling me that, then they're obviously already vibing on a much lower level than I am, and they're not going to understand my higher vibrations anyways. They're not going to understand my language. They're just not going to hear me, and it's not going to translate. So I'm going to be speaking at a different frequency, so they just aren't going to understand. So I can allow myself to get upset, or I can just understand that, they're at a different level than me, and it doesn't make me better than them. It just means I'm on a different, a different road on my spiritual
different frequency
path.
too. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. And then I control my feelings, and I choose to react. And I'm not saying that all the time everybody deserves to be, every reaction always needs to be love and something positive, because, I want people to do whatever they feel is best for them. But there is so much power in understanding that you can control your feelings, understanding that you can control your voice and how you react to your environment around you. And there is so much power to that. And that is what makes the bad people mad. And it's so much fun.
Yeah. And some of that stuff can be, I think done through like dream work and stuff too, like you mentioned. Shoot, we got to take a break here, but I am totally into this stuff. I do think a lot of things get blamed on demons, and like you said earlier, everybody wants to call the bad guy the demon. It's a demon, or the devil made me do it, or whatever, or there's something out there doing this to me. But sometimes we do it to ourselves for sure. Anyways, I'm just rambling. Last break of the night, shortest break of the night. We'll be right back. More Lighting the Void coming up. Phone lines are open too, 1-800-588-0335. If you want to call in to win those tickets, if you're a first-time caller especially, you can also go to thefringefest.com, sign up, put your name in there, use the code word Joe, and you get 15% off. We'll be right back.
Paranormal news, trending topics, and fresh articles from some of the most popular critical thinkers in the community today. Stay informed on your favorite paranormal podcasts and live streaming talk shows. Interact with the telepath and upload your paranormal story or pics. It could be featured in an upcoming edition. Sign up right now for the free telepath newsletter at paranormal.radio. That's paranormal.radio.
Stardate October 19th. OSIRIS-REx should be just about ready to touch down. The robotic craft will make contact with the asteroid Bennu as early as tomorrow. It'll gather a small amount of dust and pebbles for return to Earth. The probe is scheduled to deploy a sample collector at the end of its robotic arm, then inch toward the surface. It will compare real-time images of the surface to a map of its landing site to make sure it's on target. When the arm makes contact, it'll fire a burst of gas to kick a few particles into the collector. After just 5 seconds, OSIRIS-REx will back away to evaluate its catch. If the attempt worked, it'll return to orbit. If not, it'll try again. It can try 3 times. Once the sample has been verified, it'll be placed in a capsule for return to Earth in 3 years. OSIRIS-REx arrived at Bennu in December 2018. It's compiled a thorough dossier on the asteroid, which is about 1/3 of a mile wide. The notes include details on how Bennu's orbit changes as the asteroid absorbs solar energy on its day side and radiates it back into space on the night side. Those observations are important because Bennu comes close to Earth about every 6 years. It has a 1 in 2,700 chance of hitting Earth in the 22nd century, and it's large enough to cause major damage. Better models of the orbit will help scientists refine the odds and perhaps leave enough time to fend off a possible cosmic collision. You can follow us on social media and through our website, stardate.org. For the McDonald Observatory, I'm Billy Henry.
This is Dancing Dave from Surviving the System, and you're listening to the Fringe FM. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the best revenge is success.
The truth is out there, and so are we. KTLK, Digital Broadcasting, the Fringe FM.
Hey, this is country music singer and void walker Jason Benoit, and when I need my fix on the world of magic and the capabilities of the human consciousness, I listen to Joe Roop right here on Lighting the Void Radio.
My name is Jake. I'm from Billings, Montana, and I am a void walker.
Hey, Joe Roop. Thanks for lighting the void. This is Janine in the bluegrass of Kentucky, and I am a void walker.
What's up, guys? This is Damien from San Marcos, Texas, and I'm a void walker. I listen to the show to keep myself aligned with the world.
Hi, this is Laura, aka Laura Lavender. I'm from Las Vegas, and I listen to Lighting the Void because it helps me understand some of the strangest experiences I've had. So thanks for all that you do and for always being there for us, Joe.
This is Jason Lindgren from Crow 777 Radio, and you can hear us 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Saturday night here on the Fringe FM. Ahoy there, Gigi here from Shift Happens. Do you like to boogie down to topics such as ufology, the occult, and the mysteries behind our reality? Why invite you to join us every Friday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, that's 10 p.m. Eastern, as we like to punch that curiosity button and tickle that fancy. We tickle that fancy, but yeah, I don't know if that's the right analogy, but there's certainly a lot of tickling going on over here at Shift Happens.
To Lighting the Void, Montana Jordan, our guest tonight. Phone lines are still open if you want to win those tickets. 1-800-588-0335. You got any questions? There's some people in the chat room, Montana. They're like, what is she talking about? I don't know. I'm lost. We're yeah. So we get going down these parapsychological roads. I think sometimes people's eyes glaze over. Sometimes, because I think they just want to hear a ghost story, but.
Well, I have plenty of those too, but so anybody that's listening, for the people in the chat room, I apologize. We only have a few minutes left. So if I have been unclear on anything tonight, or if you want to ask me a question directly, please email me through my website, montanajordan.com, and I'll get right back with you.
But what I was trying to get at is like the ghosts that we face are ourselves a lot of the times. And I mean that, and I guess you were trying to talk about that too, because I mean that in a sense that a lot of stuff that you see in your dreams that you think might be something interfering, you got to do some internal work to see if that could be you. I mean, we always think our higher selves come down in our dreams, but I think that other things come down too. Our darker selves come down in our dreams in ways that we don't even fathom how dark it is,
I agree. And I'm going to correlate that, though. I think our higher selves are our darker selves. So we are coexisting, transmuting, ever-changing, interdimensional, extraterrestrial energies. And so that means that we have different sides to us, and we've got different psyche. So we're going to have a lot of different levels of our higher self. So I think it's also imperative that people take that into consideration and understand that is also another reason why it's important to, not put yourself in a box and not confine yourself to, a four-walled church or a certain belief system, that we are interdimensional beings and we are capable of great power and we hold great magic. And why wouldn't we allow ourselves to explore? And in doing that, when we take care of ourselves individually, that's how we're taking care of ourselves collectively. And that's how we continue to raise the inner collective consciousness.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. We can't, I don't think this whole COVID thing to me tells me that they have told us, think about this for a second. There's an energy. I'm not pointing my fingers at people, but there's an energy that's told us how to believe spiritually, how to, what to eat, what to think, what to dress, what to wear, the types of relationships that we can have or not have, everything. And now this energy is trying to tell us that we can't do anything, go anywhere, or connect with each other.
Yep.
Why do we not see what's happening here?
Exactly. That is such an acute observation that I think that the whole being forced to wear a mask thing, that we are just allowing ourselves, fundamentally, we're voluntarily giving up our rights in doing that. And, from a humanistic perspective and from a spiritual perspective, we are allowing ourselves to disengage with our individuality, with, looking at each other's faces and, reading each other's body language. And by putting something over my mouth, that means that I'm voluntarily giving up, my voice and my right to speak and my freedom of speech. It's all related.
Yeah. And so, I totally agree. Eyes Open asked a pretty good question. Said, so basically our unconscious mind messes with our conscious mind in order to get our attention focused on what it deems important at different points of our lives. Yeah, I guess so. I'm not sure I'm right about that, but I think that could be happening. Rivers is asking you, Montana, can you ask her about the Travel Channel show? How are they coping during the COVID? What are they doing for filming? Are they just putting you on pause or what?
Oh yeah. That's that, and everything is on an indefinite pause. Yeah, a big fat pause. Yeah, no traveling, no going anywhere. So everything is literally up in the air right now. And instead of being uncomfortable with that, I'm loving it. So, because I always have a lot of other projects that I'm working on. So as much as I miss traveling and doing my full-blown investigations, I miss it a lot. This has actually been such a perfectly healthy time for me to continue to focus on my inner work. And I've been getting a lot of my writing done. So that's where I've been taking advantage of my non-filming time. So yeah, we'll see what happens after the first of the year. But it seems there aren't going to be a lot of changes. So this might be our new norm. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I'm going to be the rebel then, I guess. I don't know, because I don't know. I may die from it, but you're not going to lock me in a box. I don't like being in a box, even though I'm in this ship behind the computer all the time. I would like to be able to get in my car and go wherever the hell I want to go, Yeah,
exactly. Well, even, what you're doing from a metaphysical standpoint, like what you just said, you're running your ship right now, you're in front of all of your, monitors and all of your buttons, beep, beep, bop, bop, but you are allowing me to connect with other people, and you're allowing them to connect with me, and we are all a part of this major conversation right now. So we are all energetically connected with each other, and because you have been asking me great questions tonight, and because you've been allowing me to discuss these significant topics, and thank you so much for that, and thank you for being such a great host, that we are right now doing our work in raising the collective consciousness. So anybody that's out there listening right now, again, thank you. And, when we're done with our show tonight, I want you to do something for yourself. And in turn, you're doing that for me, and you're doing that for Joe, and you're doing it for the people around you, to really before you go to sleep tonight, I want you to ask your higher self to help you identify a fear. It could be a little fear. It could be a big fear. It could be something from your childhood. It could be from something that happened yesterday. Whatever it is, ask your higher self to help you work through it before you go to sleep tonight. And then just let that basically uncover and manifest into whatever it's meant to be. Allow yourself to be unboxed and allow yourself to shift. And I think that is how we have a chance to, get the hell out of here.
Yeah. So there may be something that, I don't know. I feel like all this is happening because our internal worlds have caused this. If we change that, stuff will change. So what are you doing now? I mean, you're just waiting around doing projects and radio shows and kind of like, that's it?
Mm-hmm.
Or?
Yeah, I sure am. I'm actually, I'm super excited. I'm a published writer, but I am not technically a published author yet. That will be happening soon-ish. So that's been a major goal of mine. The issue has just been, finding the time and the energy to get those projects completed. And of course, that was an impossibility last year, running around filming the TV show. So really taking advantage of, like all of the horrible things that are happening right now, but just like invoking them for the betterment of myself. And again, really focusing on radical self-care and being as healthy and positive as I can be. And I think it's working. I feel like these last few months, I've made a lot of progress in my personal life. I've been taking good care of my bio body. So, and it's so easy to just be so angry and confused right now. And, and I think that that's what they want from us. They want us to feel down. They want us to feel weak. They want us to feel empowered. And I mean, the bad humans and the bad ETs. And that's why right now, and especially because it's October and because of our impending Samhain just around the corner, October 31st, other people know it as Halloween. What an imperative and profound and magical time that is. And right now is absolutely the time to take care of yourself from inward out and to mimic Gaia and to tap into all of the natural death and magic that's floating around and to manipulate that and to turn that into something that works for you so that you can fight back.
Yeah, fantastic. I totally agree. And what can everybody do to find you? If you don't mind, give the links out again for your website and your radio show so they can find you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah. That's something else that's been on my to-do list. I need to update my website. Thank you for reminding me about that. I don't even think I have my radio show on that yet, but my radio show I have once a month with the amazing Solaris Blue Raven and Niche, and that is called Cyber Witch Cafe, and that's on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. And all of this information and anything else about me and my Twitter, my Facebook, my Instagram is all on my website, montanajordan.com. And for those of you interested in more about what I do and my services and my consultation work that I do, because I also hold readings for people, you can find all of that in my website. And if you just want to say hi to connect with me, or if you've got a question for me, or if you want to book me for a session, just go ahead and email directly from my website. Again, that's montanajordan.com.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for coming on, Montana. It was cool talking to you again. Deep discussion, right? So we'll do it again sometime.
Yes, sir. I would love that. Thank you so much. Tonight has been so much fun. Thank you for letting me nerd out. I think that you are fabulous. So thank you for having me, and happy October and happy Samhain.
You as well. And I will leave all those links there, guys. If you want to check out the archives, they're caught up on the podcast side. The archives are totally caught up on the podcast side, right? I'll be doing the YouTube side before I go to bed tonight. Thank Montana for coming on again. We'll be back tomorrow night, same time, same channel. Stay tuned for the Secret Teachings with Ryan Gable coming up next. We'll see you guys tomorrow night.